All right, we are live. Welcome to the Streaming Cup as part of the Movie Spreadsheet platform, I guess is what we're going to call it. But I'm so excited to be here. I quickly want to give you a real fast rundown on what exactly is going on that you see on the screen. What's this streaming, what's this live thing about? So let's get right into what this live thing is about. And let's just talk about the Streaming Cup. So basically I had this idea of where am I spending my money? Where am I spending my time looking for movies to find? And I come to the conclusion that I pretty much own them all. So why not just simply put all the streaming services against each other, rate them against each other, choose movies from each of them, and see which one is the best streaming service for new release movies, essentially. And the big thing that 3 weeks or almost 3 full weeks has taught me, I believe it's 3 full weeks, maybe it's even 4 full weeks. Let me give you a quick read. What 3 full weeks, almost 4 full weeks has taught me is that it is not where you think the best value is and where you think the best movies are coming from is not actually the case, at least through where we are right now, which is almost 4 weeks. Chat, give me a you can hear me in the chat if everything sounds great. Like another thumbs up. Oh, here we go. We got 2 big chat contributors tonight popping off in the chat. So let's get right into where we are with the Streaming Cup. Let's do a quick rundown of the scores. So what we have right now is we're seeing Netflix currently in first place after Caught Stealing. We have followed by Disney Plus. I should make this small so I don't have to bounce back and forth, which is going to make it harder for you guys to see, which just defeats the whole purpose. Let's put it on 125 and split the difference. All right, so what we have here is we have Netflix in first place with 100 points, the First Centurion. Are they going to keep that? It is a big week to see if they're going to keep what is going on with Netflix. Number 2 is Disney Plus. Freaky Friday actually really got it done. Third place, we have Hulu with The Roses, a pretty solid number. And then finally in fourth place, Apple TV, which, like I said earlier last week, is going to continue to lose points because it's not a great... And the dog just violently licking the couch. This is absolutely insane. Hey, relax. Yeah, she gave me the look like, oops, my bad. So let's get into where we stand. I have 3 movies to discuss tonight. Oh, What Fun, Anemone, which is like the hardest word for me to say and also pronounce. And then finally, I'm also going to look at Eddington, which I have honestly no idea why they made that movie or what it's about, but let's see how it does. Okay. I will tell you responding to the chat. Chat is live. An absolutely new background. Everything looks great. No big deal. I'm complimenting myself, but I will tell you what streaming services you should be canceling. And I'm telling you right now, the kids are going absolutely crazy upstairs, driving me mad. All right. So let's get into our first movie, which is called Oh, What Fun. Now look, this is not your typical happy Christmas movie. This is a underappreciated mom Christmas movie. Like, mom does absolutely everything and she feels underappreciated, and so mom flies off the rails. That's what Oh, What Fun is about. It's starring Michelle Pfeiffer, so a lot of good stuff happening in that movie. And honestly, Amazon Prime, pretty solid. So let's reveal the score for Oh, What Fun. 8.35. So let's see how that changes the spreadsheet, which it changes it quite a bit. So that's actually gonna solidify Amazon Prime as that spot number 5. So it's in that midfield. Doesn't quite jump up, but this was a really good movie. Yes, if you're the person who is in charge of making Christmas happen, who does all the Christmas stuff in your house, you will absolutely resonate with Oh, What Fun. Like, no doubt about it. Say no more about that premise, and I feel so seen. Yes, this is a really good movie. Is it a Christmas classic? No. I bet you like every boomer dad is going to see this movie and be like, this movie sucks. What an absolute joke. Okay. Even though they're watching it on Paramount, even though they're watching on Amazon, which is gifted to them from their daughter, so they have something to do. Like, this movie is This movie is awesome. I really enjoyed it, and it's just a solid movie to watch. But definitely not like a family Christmas movie. It's more like I'm angry about Christmas. I'm gonna put it on the background. So another good showing from Amazon Prime. So we've seen Playdate from Amazon Prime. We've also got Oh What Fun and Watch the Skies, and then the first one they did was Play Dirty. So I mean, Amazon Prime isn't really putting any big movies out there higher than 8 until I saw Oh What Fun. So great movie choice from me, obviously. Oh What Fun. So now let's talk about Anemone on Peacock. And again, I've said this many times. I think Peacock has the potential to win the streaming cup, but it's gotta have a solid score here to get it out of this midfield and get it into that top tier. So how does Anemone do? Let's talk about Anemone first. Where do I even begin? Okay, it's about a guy dealing with the troubles. The troubles took place in Northern Ireland, all over the UK. It's essentially about like the conflict between the British and the Irish over control over Northern Ireland, and whether it would be part of back to being part of Ireland or if it would stay part of the UK. Probably did a horrible job explaining that, but this movie is really about. It's actually not really about that. It's about a single guy, and that single guy is Daniel Day-Lewis. So if you're like, okay, here we go, Daniel Day-Lewis from, I don't know, like There Will Be Blood is my favorite role of his, Gangs of New York as Bill the Butcher. Like, this movie is all about him acting, and he's essentially alone in the woods, and this dude goes in and talks to him. His brother goes and talks to him and try to get him to come home and spend time with his son, who is super angry. That is what the entire movie is about. And I know right there, my two biggest chat contributors, which thank you for being the biggest chat contributors, you are absolutely not going to enjoy this movie. You're not going to watch this movie. You're going to be like, well, this is going to be a complete waste of time at a 2-hour runtime in which you're watching two guys hang out in the woods away from their families, which kind of sounds like what some people do with their families anyways. But let me tell you, overall score, 6.9. And I'm going to explain why. This mixes everything up. Look at all the standings change and jump. It's just absolute chaos now in the streaming cup. And I'm going to say something. I know chat's going to make fun of me here. I mean, I honestly, I don't even know what, I know. Lol, that's my husband. Yes. This movie was just beautiful. I mean, there are so many shots that it's just like, I want to go to where they are and just run around in the woods and like frolic in these fields and swim in the water. It's just, the shots are incredible. The sound editing is like up there. I would put this with any movie I've seen in terms of cinematography, in terms of the composition of shots, and in terms of the composition of the shot with sound. It was incredible. So much so that the movie, which honestly wasn't really like that fascinating, that wasn't even that fascinating, actually had a ton of entertainment for me, because I was just enamored with the shots. So I would definitely say, for my current chat members, this is definitely a pass. But if you're into cinematography, if you're into the making of movies, I don't know how you could pass on watching this movie. It's truly incredible. And honestly, some of it, I remember going to, quick story here. I'm a great storyteller. This is what my class is like too, by the way. If you ever taken a class with me, it's like, we're going to do a little bit of a lesson. I'm going to tell some random story, then maybe a little bit more, and that's going to be it. I remember skiing with my sister in Montana, and getting to the top of this mountain, and we were there, and I was like, should I take a picture? And then I ultimately decided to not take a picture, because you know how like when you're in nature and you see something and you're just like, what's the point of even taking a picture of this? Like, it's not going to capture like what I see and like what I feel and everything that's going on in the scene. this movie is the closest I've seen to something that does that. Like, this movie actually put me there, like immersed me in the shots, and so much that I want to go there and see these places, but not be in the woods with some crazy guy by himself who is just like, you know. And you know another thing about these movies that always freaks me out is like when they prepare food. I'm like, no, immediately not eating that. What else you got? I know you had to trap your game and you're eating rabbit and like with a carrot and some blackberries you found, but I'm not eating that. Like where can we go to a store and it's like taking a picture of a full moon? Yes, that's exactly what it's like. Like you're like, cool. Then you go through your phone later and you're like, what am I doing? Why did they take a picture of this? Okay, just stare at the moon, just like you stare at an eclipse, right? Let it burn your eyes. All right, but I mean, hopefully I spoke enough about anemone. Hopefully I spoke enough about anemone, the A word. Hopefully I spoke enough about this movie to warn it. And honestly, I think my brother-in-law would actually quite enjoy this movie because of the shots of nature, and then he would just like wander in nature. So that's what I got to say for anemone. I can like literally not say it. But I have a speech impediment, so you can't make fun of that because that would be anemone. Please explain the name. Well, if I knew what anemone meant, no, I think it has to do with. I'm not gonna look up. Can the chat put in there the definition of anemone, and then I can be the one that explains how it connects to the movie while I do a quick rundown of how this movie affected the spreadsheet. Well, the first thing it did was it bumped down the roses, so that knocks Hulu out of that starting third place and for the week. So that was huge, and it brings Anemone and Peacock up. I also have to reward my bonus points, so stay tuned. That's coming as well. Like a sea anemone? No. It's not like a sea anemone. It's like something else. I need to stop saying, here's why this movie failed. Because nobody knew what movie to go see when somebody recommended it. Because nobody pronounces it correctly. Okay, so that's where we are. Fourth best movie for the week. And this has been a great week for movies. There's only one movie sub-average, which was Family Plan 2. Like, rightfully so. But let's get into Eddington, which is a lot easier for me to pronounce, so I'm a bigger fan of that one. And then wait, let me talk. Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm such an idiot. It is named after the flower because outside of this guy's total like nothing woods shack, there's in the woods, like in the shack, like nowhere. The guy can only get there with coordinates, with longitudinal and latitudinal coordinates. I'm like, where does this guy live? Right? Sounds like a great place to go hunting. And then outside of the cabin, there are these flowers, which is I don't even know. I'm over this. Which is the late father's favorite flower, which are anemones. So, and like honestly, that doesn't even look that remarkable. I'm just saying, in terms of flowers, lame. Wildly distributed. Okay, so I got a chat on this. A plant of the buttercup family, typically bearing brightly colored flowers. Anemones are widely distributed in the wild, and several kinds are popular garden plants. Okay, fun fact. That's great. There's got to be like a double meaning behind this one. I don't know. Okay, so that's where we are with anemone, and I forgot to reward some bonus points for some of these movies. So let's do Anemone first, and then we'll go back and look at the bonus points. So it's not going to win pole position. Best performance, no. I'm still think best performance is from Freakier Friday when Jamie Lee Curtis takes on her role. Fastest Lap, no, it's not the shortest movie. Best moment. I'm really thinking of a best moment. Maybe best moment. It was awesome. Yeah, there's a scene in this movie. Like when you're like, where is this movie going? The end has to pay off for this movie to be like worth watching. And honestly, it doesn't. But there's like a couple scenes that are like mystical where you're like, what? Are they eating something in the woods? Like, are they going in the woods and just like getting to the woods at like 2 a.m. even though like they can't shoot anything till like 5 a.m. And then they're just like taking like edibles in the woods and they're passing out and waking up and seeing weird objects. Like, is that what's going on? But there's a really cool scene. Hidden Gem. I'm going to give it a click for Hidden Gem because nobody has watched this, because nobody can pronounce it. But the idea is that if you're a filmmaker or you're into like shots within movies, this is why it's a hidden gem. Hidden gem. Emotional impact. Look, any movie, any that as a father, any movie, or as a parent, I should say, any movie that deals with like your baggage affects your kids. Like I think that has to have an emotional impact on you, especially if you're like a parent who, especially if you're a kid who maybe like would do things differently than the way like when you were a kid. Like it definitely has an emotional impact on you. So give them Scholastic Book Fair money. Give them a $20. Let them get the cool book. Emotional impact though, yes. Notable song, no. Something cool, yes. There is something cool in this movie, and it's part of like those visions that they see. And I just think, in all honesty, like just the shots are incredible and worth it. So that wraps up Anemone. Let's go back to the chat, and let's do Oh What Fun. Not pole position, obviously. Best performance, honestly, pretty close. Michelle Pfeiffer was awesome in this movie, and honestly, like still kind of hot. Fastest lap, no. Best moment, no. It was awesome, and I'm gonna go no as it was awesome. Hidden Gem, absolutely. Nobody's talking about this movie. This is a Christmas movie to watch for those people that are the hard Christmas workers. Emotional impact, yeah, for sure, dude. Think about all the things that your parents did, or one of your parents did, and you're like, man, I never really understood what my parents. I'll give you $50 if you never say, oh, almost got me there. Anemone. I can say it all creepy. Anemone. That's how I should say it. Notable song. I'm gonna go no for notable song, and then something cool. No, we're gonna no for something cool for over fun. All right. Last movie, moving along nicely, is Eddington. Now, Eddington's a little bit old from HBO Max, and HBO Max has been putting out some okay ones. Their big push for this week was Flight Risk. I couldn't review that because I've already reviewed Flight Risk for Stars. So I had to go a little bit deeper. I had to watch Eddington. Now, look, here's what Eddington's about. And I'm gonna say a name, and you're gonna be like, oh, him. And then I'm gonna say another name, and you're gonna be like, him too. Like, why would you watch that? Okay, but hold up. All right, so Eddington's really about these two guys and the conflict that they have in this small town. Okay, it's set at the very start of the COVID pandemic, and one of the guys is Pedro Pascal. I'm so sick of him. Oh, yeah, I know. I get it. And the other guy is Joaquin Phoenix. You're like, oh my God, what does this mean? This is going to be crazy. This is going to be the weirdest movie ever. This is the strangest characters. It took me a while to realize Joaquin Phoenix was the sheriff. So I'll just start with that. Like, is it like full blown Joaquin Phoenix being weird? No, like he's less weird in this movie than he is in Napoleon, and he's super weird in Napoleon, and that's a really tame version of what he is in some of his other movies. So Eddington, 2 hours and 23 minutes. It is long. It is classified as like a modern Western / dark humor, and let me tell you, maybe this is just the fact that I had to watch this during work. I had nothing else to do. 8.45 overall score. Everything shifts in the spreadsheet. Big moment happening here, just like when Jason Myers kicked that field goal for the Seahawks to beat the Colts. Big moment happening right here. Here's what we got. We got Eddington, 8.45, the second best movie of the week, almost the best movie of the week. It was just a little bit long, and that's going to rearrange all of the standings. Everything is changing. But let's talk about why I liked Eddington so much and what this movie did really well. This movie was awesome. Like, it was completely unexpected. If you know nothing about this movie going into it, yes, that's where you want to be. It was awesome. I mean, it was literally like everything that they did leading up to the halfway point. It was super cool. And then the ending was just like, okay, here comes the Western component to it. And the movie just turns on a dime. And I love when movies do that. Again, I spoke about that for Caught Stealing. When something happens where it just sets everything off on a different like tone, you're just like, whoa. So big fan of Eddington, worth a watch, honestly, for a lot of people. I like modern Westerns. Think of it as like, if you've seen Hell or High Water and you like that, it's not as serious as Hell or High Water. It's a lot lighter, but it's really good. I'd set it in that same kind of light grouping of Hell or High Water. So 8.45 for Eddington, and like I said, everything changes. So second highest movie of the week. It jumps HBO's points way up. So HBO jumps to 5th from 6th. And we have a lot of other ones change. And the big loser now of the week becomes Apple TV with that absolute stinker they've put out, which is Family Plan 2 of a 3.5. So if they stay here, which they're not going to, because I still have to review 2 more movies. If they stay here, Apple TV will have the biggest drop off of any streaming service this season, this year. Just kidding. The Seahawks don't win. Okay, I saved it. All right, so that's where we are. That's where we are with Eddington. That's where we are with all the movies so far. Current standings after the movies have been in place, and then I need to give Eddington its points. So I should do that actually first. Pole position 5, best performance. I'm thinking about taking best performance away from Jamie Lee Curtis in Freaky Friday and giving it to Joaquin Phoenix for his role in this movie, but I'm not going to. Fastest Lap, no, it's not the shortest movie. It's actually the longest movie of the week by far. Best moment, yes. Yes, best moment for sure. So we're going to take that away from Netflix, which means the points now drop for Netflix to under 100, so no longer a Centurion. And then we're going to go over here to It Was Awesome. Yep, I'm not going to talk about some scenes in this, but there are some scenes that are freaking awesome, especially when the movie turns. And also the way they wrapped everything up. Hidden Gem, yes, absolutely. Nobody's talking about this movie. You should go watch the movie. It's actually one of the biggest losers of the year in terms of box offices. And if you're like, whoa, what do you mean? It's a bomb? Yes, it's a bomb. And you can watch my video, which I released yesterday, Saturday, that deals with the big box office bombs of 2025. And I had the help of my amazing wife to go over that list. Emotional impact for Eddington. No emotional impact. Notable song. Nope. And then something cool. Yes. Something cool. It's definitely something cool. It's a modern Western. So I think you know what something cool would be in this movie. Okay. So now we can look and see where everything is and look at what we got going on. HBO jumps from 6th to tied for 2nd now with Disney Plus. Huge week for HBO. So after tonight, after what I've reviewed, here are the current standings. We have in last place Paramount, and I'm going to talk about Paramount tonight, even though I didn't watch a movie from them. I'm glad you like the term Centurion. That's a term they use in the Premier League when somebody gets 100 goals, when they have their 100th cap. Centurion, it's an amazing term, I know. But I have some comments for Paramount. I have some comments for Stars, but Paramount right now is just the gap between Paramount and Stars and everything else is like shocking. It's shockingly bad. So right now, Paramount's in last place. Granted, I haven't watched the last movie for them, and I know what movie it's going to be, and it's going to score pretty well. 6 points. So that means we're averaging a little more than a point a week from the movies I've watched so far. Second to last place, 8th place, Stars on 15 points. Just been absolute trash. Third place, well, there is no not third place. 7th place we have is Peacock on 51 points. So we have one movie that's really separated us from everything else. One streaming service, that's Netflix, and then there's this huge pack of like 6 streaming services right there, like vying for that second position. And then bringing up the rear, we've got the New Jersey of that. I'm just kidding. We've got Mission Impossible or Paramount, and then we've also got Stars. So that's where we are. 6th place we have is Apple TV, huge drop off. Fifth place is going to be Amazon Prime, which is kind of like a sleeping giant. I know I say that a lot, but they just sneak movies on there that end up being pretty solid. And then finally, in fourth place, we have Hulu, which is basically like part of Disney. And then finally, tied for second, we have Disney and HBO. This was the week that got HBO back up to where I think we all thought it would be in that top tier, contending for a title. HBO is kind of like Red Bull, right? It's kind of like Max Verstappen. You're like, where you should be winning this thing. And Netflix right now is kind of like McLaren. Like, are you guys gonna blow this? Are you guys gonna blow this one? Anyways, let's talk about next week's movies, and let's start with the next movie I'm gonna watch, which is called Unexpected Christmas. I'm gonna jump over here to my screen. I'm gonna pull Stars up, and we're gonna talk about some things that I currently hate about Stars. Chat, you guys watch anything good this week? I'm seeing a lot of stuff on Paw Patrol Christmas. Stars would make a lovely Christmas gift for somebody that you need to give a Christmas gift for. It's cheap. They've got a ton of movies on there, a ton of older movies, right? Like old people love old movies. Old people boomers like to watch movies over and over and over again, as do I. This is a great for like an elderly father. Stars, be like, here you go. And it's also got Outlander on there, and I know, or is it Highlander, one of those two. And I know older dads love that movie. So, or that TV series, Stars. Stars does a horrible job at getting you to see new release movies right away. It is so hard to find movies to watch on Stars. And so we do see some, after scrolling down, I can find Unexpected Christmas. So that's going to be the movie that I watch on Stars. Warning. Stars warning. If you have kids, say your child gets super into like Spider-Man or Marvel movies, as you can see mine has. When you go to start the movie, it's going to make you watch a trailer for Stars' big earner, which is none of these up here, but it's so cool if it was right there, which is Spartacus. That's their huge show, and it is just, they're going to show you a trailer that has got like basically a nudity in it, and it's got, you're like, what is going on? This is a trailer. You don't know who's watching this, so just big warning to your kids. Thanks, chat, Outlander. This is what Stars has in plan for you. So Stars, we're going to be watching Unexpected Christmas, which I have really low hopes for. And now let's go to Paramount. And then we talk about why Paramount makes me so freaking mad. Paramount is a massive streaming service. I think they just put a bid in for HBO. Got the dry cough going on. The thing that Paramount does horribly is they don't put new movies anywhere near the front. So if this is Paramount's main page, I know Paramount just got a huge movie on here. I had to like search and research and ask ChatGPT, what new movies are on Paramount? And I found it. But if I'm just scrolling through Paramount and I go keep watching, or I go to While You Were Away, or I go to, I just go to movies, right? I go to movies. I go to new and popular up here. And then in movies, I would just go to recently added. You would think they would put their hugest, biggest movies in this section, and they haven't. The new releases. And what I'm talking about is that the last rendition of this guy's Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible, was added a little more than a week ago, and you can't find it anywhere. All you see on Paramount right now are these stupid Showtime locked movies hidden all, like sprinkled all throughout here, like Kevin James as Becky in this Becky movie. But what you cannot find is their big new releases. This is a huge disservice to the movies that they have on there. It's a terrible interface, and this is why Paramount. That's why I'm not liking Paramount right now. So Paramount, you need to do a better job of putting your movies on there. So for Paramount, we're going to watch Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I've already seen it, but that's going to be what we're reviewing. Ooh, Tropic Thunder. Love it. So let's go back to the spreadsheet. And that's it. That's what I got for you. So thanks for watching the movie spreadsheet this week. I hope this helped you find a movie to watch. I hope this helped you find correct pronunciation of the word anemone. And I hope you are able to check out some of my shorts, which I release every day. So like those, everything's spoiler free. And then finally on the weekends, I release a video with my wife where we go over some lists and we look at some big ideas of 2025 in movies. So that's all I got. Thanks for checking this out, and I will catch you later.